Alright, hello बच्चों, hello दोस्तों, hi students, how are you? I hope आप सभी लोगों ने हमारा पहला वीडियो on real numbers and fundamental theorem of arithmetic देख ही लिया होगा. तो शुरू करते हैं हमारा second video. And if you guys have any questions related to the last class, then you can actually ask in the comments. Otherwise, I hope you guys are all good with it and you're making awesome progress. Cool. So just a recap. In the last class, we discussed the fundamental theorem of arithmetic. And this theorem specifically studies the application of integers. And we just kind of repeat the theorem. It says every composite number can be expressed or factorized as a product of primes. And this factorization is unique. Means the factorization of prime numbers or the prime factors is unique. You cannot have multiple combinations of those factors. All right, so we have discussed it in a lot of detail, and there's some highlights that I just want to talk to you about. If you read these lines on your NCERT book, it says the fundamental theorem says that every composite number can be factorized as a product of primes. Actually, it says more. So this is the thing that you need to focus when you study, when you read any book. You need to read between the lines. That's how you actually gain the most of the knowledge and you understand the concepts. So it says that given any composite number, it can be factorized as a product of prime numbers in a unique way, except for the order in which the primes occur. That is, given any composite number, there's one and only one way to write it as a product of primes, as long as we are not particular about the order in which the primes occur. So we have discussed it in a lot of detail in the last video, and if you guys want to go back to that video to understand what these lines mean, then I think you should do that. And today, I think this class is in the continuation of the last lecture. I did not include a few things because I wanted to discuss those things, especially in class 2. So that's our class 2. First, we'll start with an example that's actually given in your book, and let's just solve a question ourselves and see if we understood that prime factorization method that we discussed in the last class or not. So this question says find the LCM and HCF of 6 and 20 by the prime factorization method. And remember, this is not the only way you can find the LCM and HCF of the numbers. There are other ways as well that we will discuss in the coming lectures. So if we say 6, okay, I need to enable the pen. Cool. All right. So we write down 6. So the factors of 6 would be 2 multiply 3. So, or you can say 2 raised to power 1 and 3 raised to power 1. The second number is 20. So 20, you can have the factors as 2 multiply 5. Or you can say 2 raised to power 2 and 5 raised to power 1. So as we already discussed, what would be the highest common factor? So you can easily get that highest common factor. The common factor, the factor that is common across two numbers, we need to take the least power of that number, right? Because if you take the highest power, that means that number, that factor would only be present in one number, not on the other number, right? तो हम उसके लिए क्या करेंगे, 2 हमारा कॉमन फैक्टर है जो इस नंबर में भी आता है, इस नंबर में भी आता है. हमें इसकी लीस्ट पावर लेनी है, बिकॉज if you take 2 raised to power 2, that means it's 4. 4 is not present in your first number 6. Only 4 is present as a factor in 20. So what we will do, we'll take the least power for highest common factor, because that will be the common factor. So there'll be 2. And if you see, there's no other common factor, right? So the answer is 2. Now LCM. There's a quick way. I actually told you how to take the LCM, calculate the LCM, but there's another way as well, because we are doing the prime factors, right? So what you can do, you can note down all the prime factors. So 2, 3, 5. These are the tricks. That's how you solve the questions pretty quick. So you take the unique prime factors 2, 3, and 5 and take the highest power. So highest power for 2 is 2, 3 is 1, and 5 is 1. So 4 multiply 3 multiply 5, and that comes to 60. So that's your LCM, right? Cool. So now if you look at this calculation, I think you guys by now should have understood, if we have two numbers, then the product of those two numbers, the product, let's say A is 6 and B is 20, then the product of A and B would be 6 multiplied by 20, that comes to 120. And if you take a product of HCM and LCM of these two numbers, that would be, so your LCM, your HCF was 2 and your LCM is 60, that again comes as 120. So this is the formula that you can actually, maybe you don't need to remember, but when you practice, it'll just go into the back of your brain, and when you solve the questions, it'll just go like this. So this is something that is kind of important when you're trying to solve the questions pretty quick. And there can be questions where they can say, hey, there are two numbers, A and B, HCF is this, find out the LCM. So you don't have to go and calculate the prime factors and take the highest power for the unique prime factors, and then that's how you calculate LCM. No, you can just apply this formula, and while applying this formula, you can just quickly calculate the LCM. And let's practice that in the next question. So it says find the HCF of 96 and 404 by the prime factorization method, and hence find their LCM. So essentially we can apply the same formula that we have just understood. So what we're going to do here, we'll first do the prime factorization. We'll just go through the prime factorization method. So for 96, okay, let me go with the basics, and I'll go like this: 9, 2 4 ja 8, and 2 8 ja 16, and then 2 24, then 2 1 ja 2, 2 2 ja 4, 2 6 ja 12, 2 3 ja 6, and 3 1 ja 3. So 1 2 3 4 5. So 5 repetitions of 2. That means you have 2 raised to power 5, and then there is a factor 3. So there are two factors, 2 raised to power 5, and then there's another prime factor, that is 3. And now when we go to 404, you can again apply the same formula. So what you can do here, you go like this: 404, the least prime number is 2. So we'll start with 2. 2 2s are 4, 0, 2 2s are 4, 2, 1s are 2, 0, 2 1s are 2. And that's it, because 101 is your prime number. So the factors of this number would be 2 raised to power 2 multiply 101, right? So highest common factor, nice and easy. You can go and take the common prime factor, that is 2, and the least power. So that will be 2 raised to power 2, and the answer would be 4. Now, I think this is disturbing us quite a lot. Let me see how we can, we can turn off the math results. So now there are two ways you can find the LCM. You can go with the prime factorization method. So you can say LCM is your unique factors. So unique prime factors are 2, 3, 101, and then their highest powers. So 2's highest power is 5, 3's highest power is 1, and 101 highest power is 1. So when you do that, then the answer would be 9696. Obviously, it's in your books. I'm not going to boast about it. I'm not going to do the calculations. But there's another way that you can solve this question you can just go 96 multiply 404 equals your LCM multiply HCF, or you can go other way around. So you can say HCF multiply LCM equals 96 multiply 404, and then your LCM would become 96 multiply 404 divided by your HCF, and your HCF was 4. So when you divide it, it will be 101, and then the answer would be 9696. So there are two ways you can actually apply this formula to find out the LCM or HCF if you have already calculated LCM or you are given LCM in the question. But remember, this formula only applicable for two numbers. If you're gonna apply it for three numbers, that's not gonna give you the desired result. That'll be a wrong formula. So don't try to apply it on three numbers. It'll just work for two numbers. So this is an observation, right? So in mathematics, this is just an observation. Cool. So as part of this, let's go and now solve our next question. तो बच्चों, question is find the HCF and LCM of 672 and 120 using the prime factorization method. As I said, the previous formula that we have discussed is not going to be applicable on three numbers. That was only for two numbers, right? So the only way we have at this point, as per this question, is to find out the prime factors. Okay, let's move on. So prime factor for 6 would be 2 raised to power 1, 3 raised to power 1. I'm just writing raised to power 1 because by now I'm not actually dumping everything in first video. I'm trying to gradually dump the knowledge onto you so that you can practice and then you can sharpen your skills, and that's how you actually start solving the questions quickly, right? The next number is 72. So for 72, do you want me to go with the basics, or I can just write down because it's already in your books? Let's do it. 2 3 ja 6, 2 6 ja 12, 2 18 times, 2 9 times, 2 4, right? So this is the mistake. You go 3 3 ja 9 and 3 ja 3. So the prime factors would be 2 and 3, and 2 raised to power 3, and 3 comes twice, so 3 raised to power 2. When we go and find out the prime factors for 120, this is an exercise for you. You just do the basic calculations here for 120 and go like this. But the prime factors would be 2, 3, and 5, and the 2 would come 3 times, right? Nice and easy. How would we calculate HCF? Remember, common factor, common prime factor that comes in every number. So that common prime factor is 2 and 3, not 5, because 5 only comes in 120, not in 72 or 6. So your common prime factors are 2 and 3 with the least power, because now we're talking about the factor, not the multiple. Factor means that's available, that's part of each number, right? That factor can divide that number. So 2 raised to power 1 and 3, the least power is 1. So HCF is 6. All right, so next would be LCM. LCM, you know, list down all the prime factors, 2, 3, 5. Now you understand. Now it's going to the back of your memory, of your brain, and then you can just speed it up. The highest power, 2's highest power is 3, 3's highest power is 2, and 5 highest power is 1 in these numbers, right? So 8, 9, 5, and then the calculation, it would be 360. All right, so this is about our class 2. We just did a recap on the fundamental theorem. We did solve some questions. We saw how for the two numbers we can actually have a observation or a formula where we can say product of two numbers equals to the product of their LCM and HCF. And that's pretty much about it. And also, yeah, previously we were actually going pretty basic and trying to figure out the LCM and HCF while looking at the factors. But here we now understand for HCF, you just list down the common prime factors with their least power. And for LCM, you list down all prime factors of the numbers with their highest power. And that would be your LCM and HCF. So that's it for today. I think in the next class, we will solve all the questions from exercise 1.1 and we'll take it from there. And I hope you getting to understand the concepts, and I really, really hope you guys do wonders in your exams and you understand the concepts, not try to mug the things, right? Because that's not going to work in your life. Just try to understand the things and try to express. Cool. That's it from me for today. See you guys next time.